Orchid, Violet, Brunetta, and Brunella all went on an elegant excursion, and Orchid could think of nothing that she would like better than to take a tour of the town with her tots. Orchid was on a mission, but surely there could be no harm in seeing the sights along the way, so she paid very close attention as her children pointed them out. Mostly her children drew her attention to things which they thought were beautiful, and fairly often those beautiful things were people. The Queen got to know some of the people in her dynasty, and some of the people got to know the Queen. It was like meeting a long-lost friend for both of them. Orchid, Violet, Brunetta, and Brunella all had a wonderful time. But now it was getting late, and they needed to return to the palace. Supper would be ready shortly. Then it would be time for stories and for sleep. Orchid rose very early the next morning. The sun was just barely creeping up over the edge of the woods, where it rose every morning. There were, of course, some mornings when the sun rose quite late, but today was not one of those days. Today was an early sun-rising day. Today was also an early orchid-rising day. She rose very quietly, so as not to disturb her sleeping children. She got dressed ever so quietly. She would wait to put on her shoes until she got outside. That way she could walk quietly throughout the palace without waking a soul. Orchid was in a hurry to get out of the palace and be on her mission. She didn't have time to talk with anybody. She wasn't certain who all the other people in the palace were yet, or what they did, but there always seemed to be somebody who wanted to say hello to her. Orchid rose from where she had been sitting to put on her shoes. She took a few steps and then went around a corner of the palace. As soon as she stepped around that corner, she noticed that now she had 8 feet. Actually, Orchid did not have 8 feet. Her children were walking right in stride with her, and all of their feet added up to 8. Orchid was in wonder. Violet looked resolutely straight ahead. Brunetta and Brunella skipped along, holding each other's hands. As they skipped, they sang, almost in unison, but not quite. "Let's find Dandelion." Orchid smiled and said, "Yes, let's." Some time later, the sun had fully risen. Orchid still had a smile on her face because she was still glad to be on her mission with her children. But now her smile was looking serious and ponderous. How were they ever going to find Dandelion? Violet was looking serious because she had a serious question to ask her mother, or at least it seemed serious to her. "What color is Dandelion's hair?" Orchid replied, "Why, Dandelion's hair is yellow, just like a dandelion flower." Violet pouted. She had had much more practice at pouting than at looking serious. "Then I'm afraid that we'll never find her," she said. "Everybody in the dynasty has hair that is some shade of violet." "Not me," replied Brunella. "Me either," responded Brunetta. "She's got to be here somewhere. Where else could she be?" asked Orchid of nobody in particular. "Wherever she wanted to be, and some place that she'd rather not." The lady who had said this looked rather strange to Orchid, but she somehow also looked very familiar. "Mother," said Violet in her most regalese, "meet Wisteria the Wise." Orchid was certain that Dandelion was the only one who could straighten out what needed to be straightened out in the dynasty. Surely if Wisteria or Fairy could have straightened things out, they would have done so by now. But Orchid and her girls needed to eat breakfast before they headed out today. It had not been wise to leave before breakfast the day before. Orchid felt that if indeed they did meet Dandelion, they would need all their stamina and strength. Wisteria and Fairy both said that they would like to see Dandelion again, but they didn't feel any urgency about the matter. Orchid said, "But there are so many things that are wrong with the dynasty. We have to find her and make her fix them." Wisteria asked, "Are things really that wrong?" "Well, you should know. You are the royal one." Wisteria explained that often the royal one could see things that were wrong with the dynasty when others couldn't see them. She also said that the royal one could see that something was wrong with the dynasty, even when it was oblivious to everyone else that it was wrong. Fairy seemed to be lost in thought. It was a long moment or two before she spoke. "Yes, that just might work," was all she said.
Bye.